promised, Richard Gustine is with us. He advised, of course, both of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaigns. He's been in D.C. a long time, long enough to remember, Richard, when liberals, Frank Church of Idaho, senator, for example, really worried about the misuse of our spy agencies for domestic political purposes.
Right.
So, and I think they were spot on to worry about that, because these things can be misused. It seems pretty clear that the Obama administration was spying on Trump people before the inauguration. Why wouldn't that worry every American, no matter what you think about Trump?
Why does it not worry Donald Trump that the Russians, according to the intelligence community, tried to, and indeed did, kind of infiltrate and undermine our democracy by what they did? So that's the answer to the question, the discussion that you just had.
It's not an answer. That's a bumper sticker. So let's get to the specifics. Look, you agree. You've defended Robert Mueller, and I've been very slow to attack Mueller, and I'm going to cite him now. So in the statement of the charges against General Flynn, he says that Flynn was on the phone with Kislyak, the Russian ambassador, and other foreign officials. And they were talking about what? They were saying, you know, we want to bring the U.S. closer to both Russia and Israel. Those were campaign promises that Trump made. Why is that an act of disloyalty against your country that would justify surveillance? I don't understand.
Does it surprise you that the U.S. government might surveil the Russian ambassador to the United States? Exactly. So you're assuming that this was a surveillance of Flynn, who incidentally we had already had a predicate for, because the Russians had reached out. They didn't reach out to the Hillary Clinton campaign. They reached out to the Trump campaign, and the Trump response was, love it, let's see more.
I'm confused.
That was to undermine the democracy.
No. Of course, the intel agencies are allowed to and ought to be surveilling foreign actors in the United States and also abroad. But we're supposed to be pretty jumpy about getting Americans involved in that surveillance. There's a high bar. The FISA court exists to make sure this is not abused. There's no evidence that Michael Flynn was doing anything wrong with the Russians at all. It doesn't show up in the Mueller statement. Okay, and why wouldn't it? He's investigating that. There's no evidence he did anything untoward or disloyal to America, and they're still surveilling him. Why shouldn't that bother you?
This was the same Michael Flynn sitting next to Vladimir Putin in 2015. That's not a crime, but the fact is to suggest that there's no evidence anywhere.
Where's the evidence?
Well, the fact is that
sitting
Mueller
next to Putin a crime?
I bet you, if you put out Robert Mueller's desk drawer, there would be reams of evidence. He chose not to put it in.
Where is it? So it's secret evidence that the rest of us can't see.
It's not. We will see it.
But where is it? He's already pled guilty to a felony.
Exactly.
So where's the evidence?
And my guess is there would have been multiple felonies.
Really? Because he's having to sell
with.
Look, I don't know Mike Flynn. I'm not defending him on a personal basis. The guy's had to sell his house. His life has been destroyed.
Yeah.
He pled to a felony. He could go to jail. And
he should have thought about that before he lied to the federal government.
Okay, no, he lied. He lied. But he
did other things as well.
Really? Because where are they?
Well, we know, for example, that he didn't disclose what he should have disclosed on forms that by law.
What did he do wrong?
Well,
no, I mean, like,
that's like saying
what did he? No, but
whatever.
Hold on, it's not whatever, and I'm not excusing perjury. He pled to it. What I'm shocked by is that our intelligence agencies were surveilling the political opponent of the president at the time.
Yeah.
No, they were. I mean, it's right here. They were, and nobody seems to care because you feel like someone you dislike is being hurt by it, so it's okay.
And I would say the problem with that analysis is it suggests the FBI was out to get Donald Trump and his people. And the answer to that is Donald Trump should thank his lucky stars for the FBI. That's why he's president, because of what Comey did on July 5th and on October 28th. That is the reason that he is president. Sorry.
Okay, but that's an entirely separate debate.
Well, but it's still the suggestion that the FBI is corrupted.
Comey in this. Look, can we just take Trump and Hillary and all the polarizing political figures out of this and have an honest conversation?
Sure.
Isn't it something we should be concerned about when our intelligence and law enforcement agencies put Americans under surveillance and don't tell them about it, and don't tell us why they're doing it, and never come up with a real justification for it, and then you see people's lives destroyed? How would you like this if this happened to a Democrat? You'd hate it. Yeah. And I hope that I would be honest enough to be on your side, because it's wrong.
I think the whole point of surveillance is not to sort of knock on the door of the guy being surveilled and saying, incidentally, watch yourself, what you say from now on. That's not the point. The point is to catch them doing things that are contrary to the interests of the United States. That's what Michael Flynn did. That's what Paul
Really? What did Flynn... Okay, Flynn... If he did something that was, quote, contrary to the interests of the United States, he betrayed his country, which is what you just said.
Yes.
What is it?
Okay. He got his staff, when he was National Security Advisor, again, the president's national security advisor has pled guilty to a crime. While he was
lying to the FBI.
While he was national security advisor, we know that he asked staff to basically take a client's wish list and put the United States seal on it and say, we want this to be U.S. policy. That is a problem.
No, but you just accused him of disloyalty to his country.
Yeah.
Why hasn't he's been indicted? Why wasn't he indicted for that?
Well, you have to ask Robert Mueller.
No, I'm serious. But are you bothered? We don't have the answer because we're not Robert Mueller. But aren't you bothered by it?
I'm not the least bit bothered that a prosecutor decides to go easy on somebody who's a cooperating witness. If it offends people, so be it. But that's tried and true. That's what prosecutors do.
But there's still, he hasn't been shown to have done anything to hurt America. We've destroyed his life, and now we're nodding and saying it's okay that our intel agencies spy on Americans. Don't you see that our standards are getting really low?
Well, again, Paul Manafort, I think we have reason to believe, was under surveillance for years, and I think that's what Donald Trump's really worried about, the conversations he had with Manafort were picked up.
You may be right on Manafort, but it's just Flynn I'm obsessed with. I mean, he's a general. There's no evidence that he sold out America.
I think asking the government to put a stamp on your client's document, yeah, that's kind of selling out America.
They should have indicted him for it. Richard, thank you.
My pleasure.